Good evening for those who can watch this live tonight, and I'm really sorry I was a bit late putting out what I was going to talk about tonight, but I'm hoping that some of you know by now that there's always going to be something of interest and of valuable information for you. Really busy time for me at the moment. I'm running my group online program at the moment, which I think is going well. So I've got to dip in and out and answer questions, and I'm running lives and putting loads of information into the group about that. I've just been out today to visit the Churn Project charity that I'm supporting this year, and thank you to all of you who have been involved with that and supporting like the online group programs and my auction early this year, because I'm almost at my £1,000 target that I set myself. So that's really exciting. So it was lovely to go and meet the people at the Churn Charity Project in Cirencester today. I have been in the process of doing one. I've got another one to do, delivering a webinar for a functional testing company, and the UK one of that goes out a couple of weeks time, and I've just done a recording for the European market about how I use functional food sensitivity testing in my practice with some case studies. And I'm going to be delivering a workshop on menopause and nutrition and lifestyle support for the menopause for a Swindon-based corporate company. I've got to present the webinar, prepare the webinar for that this week. So I've got loads going on at the moment, on top of all my clients that I love seeing. Really busy time, but it's all things I absolutely love to do. So tonight I am talking about how to keep your liver healthy. We always need to think about keeping our liver healthy. Our liver is this most amazing organ, largest organ in the body, carrying out over 500 functions all the time. So many functions the liver is involved in. And one of the major ones that I think about is its detoxification ability, because everything that goes to our body, whether it's from the food, whether it's the toxins that have been broken down through our metabolic processes, whether it's the drugs that we have to take, everything goes via the liver. It has this major detoxification role, has this two-phase detoxification role, majorly important. Lots of different nutritional pathways that are involved in this, enzyme pathways to get the toxins out of the body, and they either go out in bile via the bowels or they go out in urine via the kidneys. Really complicated, majorly important, and don't assume that because, you know, that's what the liver does, it's all going to be working ultra efficiently. Because think about how we abuse our bodies, and I'm no different to anybody else. You know, I like a drink, I might be eating out, I'm not always eating the healthiest food in the world, although I try to eat healthily. You know, we put a lot of demands on our body, and, you know, the liver has to pick up the pieces sometimes. So it's really important to just give it a little bit of TLC and just step back and think, am I doing the best for it that I possibly can? Am I really helping it to perform all its functions? Am I really helping it to be healthy? Some of you might have heard of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So when we think about liver disease, it's not always to do with the fact that it's to do with alcohol. There is this thing on the increase called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It says what it says on the tin, i.e. it's fatty liver disease and it's not to do with alcohol. And increasingly, this is on the increase, they reckon. I've seen some research that says 1 in 3 people might have early signs of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, of course, this can go on if it was allowed to develop into something far more serious. So we don't want that to happen. And you're not going to know about it. It's invisible to us. And I'm not saying this is to do with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but the signs that the liver may need some support is when we're feeling a bit sluggish and tired, our skin not maybe as great as it should be. You know, look at your eyes. Actually, are your eyes bright? Don't necessarily look too closely at mine. Are your eyes bright? Are you alert? Are you sleeping well? These can all be signs, hormonal imbalances, all signs that actually things aren't not that great with the liver. You know, I just mentioned this menopausal workshop I'm delivering. So much of that as we're going through the menopause links back to what's going on with our liver. So the things that we shouldn't do as much as we can if we're going to support our liver is to be eating a diet full of processed foods, full of sugars, full of starchy carbohydrates. I would include in that things like artificial sugars, fizzy drinks, obviously the alcohol, not much tea and coffee, but I'm going to come back to one of those in a moment. So we know we shouldn't be eating lots of those foods, and they're certainly not going to be great. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is very much linked to an insulin imbalance as part of that problem. So there are foods that are really going to help the liver with its detoxifications ability, helping to keep inflammation at bay and providing antioxidant support, because every process that the body goes through, and the liver, I've said, is going through so many processes supporting us all day long, 24/7, that it's going to be producing free radicals when it's carrying out some of its functions, and free radical damage is what we don't want to occur. And this is where antioxidants play a really important role. What antioxidants do is they neutralize free radical damage, and if we don't neutralize these free radicals, they create damage and inflammation, damage our cells, damage the mitochondria in the cells, they don't produce energy, etc. So I'm going to go through my top 10 here. I'll try not to keep you too long, and I've already been going on for about 8 minutes. So let me go through this list, not necessarily in any particular order actually. So the first on my list is turmeric, and particularly its active ingredient is curcumin. So I'm talking here about foods tonight. I'm not going to talk about supplements. Let's talk about the foods we can be eating to really support liver health. So turmeric, the active ingredient curcumin helps to flush out toxins from the liver. It assists in heavy metal clearance. So I'm talking about the detoxification pathways in the liver, and our body, if we're not careful, can store toxins in our fat cells. But if they're not stored and they're passing through the body, then through the liver, we've got an opportunity to try and clear those heavy metals out of the body. They need to bind to something. So the curcumin helps with heavy metal clearance. And if you're like me and still have mercury fillings, maybe that's a topic for another day, then the mercury is always leaching, the fillings always leaching a little bit of mercury out of them. So we need to be aware of that. So we can help support that process. And turmeric is rich in antioxidants, and we know that I know that turmeric is number one up there for its anti-inflammatory properties. So turmeric is a great ingredient to be including in your cooking, either, you know, whether you're making curried dishes, or one of my favorites is golden milk, that drink we can make with a nut milk, a lovely warming drink we can have through the winter instead of something like coffee or tea. Have it as a nighttime drink. Always cook it with fat. Golden milk, that recipe might be in one of my files in this group. If you're watching it in my Facebook group. So look for that. Now, carrots is second on my list. Carrots are rich in beta carotene. Beta carotene can convert to vitamin A. It's full of flavonoids and glutathione. Now, glutathione is a really, really important pathway through the liver. And it helps the liver, the carrots help the liver to regenerate, helps to protect it from damage, because of the flavonoids and its antioxidant properties with the vitamin A, and supports the detoxifying processes and helps support bile flow. And I said at the start that toxins, fat-soluble toxins, pass out of the liver through the gut and pass out that way, but they pass out via attached to bile. Bile goes to the gallbladder and also helps in fat breakdown, but that's how these toxins get out. So it helps in bile flow. You know, bile can become very, very sluggish through the liver and the gallbladder. It helps with that. Number 3 on my list is broccoli, and actually it's not just broccoli, but it's all cruciferous vegetables, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, rocket and cabbage, and they contain really important compounds like glucosinolates and sulfur. And sulfur is another one of the 6 really important detoxifying pathways through the liver, the sulfation pathway. So these cruciferous vegetables have a very important role to play with the liver and detoxifying abilities. And with all my clients, I'm always encouraging them to eat more dark green leafy vegetables alongside all vegetables, but dark green leafy vegetables have such an important role. And what else was I going to say here? Yes, they also help in heavy metal clearance as well. Number 4 on my list is rocket and other bitter salad leaves like chicory and endive and dandelion. They help to stimulate bile flow. As I said, bile can become very, very sluggish and isn't passing through liver and the gallbladder very efficiently. So it helps with stimulating bile flow. That's partly to do with its stomach acid role, and through stomach acid, helping stomach acid secretion, and stomach acidity in turn helps to encourage bile to flow through the gallbladder, and in turn helps to get it to encourage it to pass through the liver. And as I just said, it carries fat soluble toxins out of the body that way. So we want to keep the gallbladder and the liver and this bile flowing efficiently. You know, think of gallstones. We don't want bile becoming sluggish and sitting there. Number 5 on my list is extra virgin olive oil. I love extra virgin olive oil. I use it a lot. I use this mostly in my cooking. I know we can use coconut oil, we can use butter, but I use mostly extra virgin olive oil, and I sprinkle it liberally on my salads. And we know that olive oil is a real lover for the liver. Really beneficial for the liver. There are certain gallbladder liver protocols for trying to flush things out of the liver, flush things out. I don't tend to get into those sort of protocols. But olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fatty acids and plant phenols. When we talk about plant phenols, you know, we're talking about these plant compounds that have properties that protect the plants, but infer those properties onto humans as well. So these plant phenols have been shown to help improve the fat profiles in the body and these fatty acids. And we know that these compounds are also important, don't we, for helping to protect us from high cholesterol and cardiovascular disease too. Also important for protecting us from oxidative stress, so the antioxidant properties, and helping to reduce fat accumulation in the liver linked to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So keep ingesting that olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, what the cold pressed. That's the one that's not going to be go rancid quickly itself. Number 6 on my list is beetroot, another lover for the liver, or the liver, I should say, loves beetroot. Rich in antioxidants to help protect against oxidative damage and inflammation in liver cells. And it's rich in nitric oxides. I don't know if any of you have learned about and know anything about beetroot and nitric oxide, really important for helping to protect against hypertension. But equally, this is really important for the similar role in helping to encourage blood flow and oxygenation through the liver. So really important, and has also been shown to help with the important detoxifying enzymes. We have this stage in the liver called the P450. So we have all these enzymes that are really important in the phase 1 pathway. The liver goes through 2 pathways for detoxifying. Number 7 on my list is blueberries for its anthocyanins, another plant compound. In fact, all berries are really beneficial. These dark blue berries, purple coloured berries, fantastic plant-based antioxidants, helping to keep the liver cells healthy. And one study has linked these particular antioxidants to slowing the development of liver scar tissue. As we know, if we go into further liver degeneration, in liver disease. It's all to do with scar tissue that's building up in the liver. Number 8 on my list is walnuts. They're rich in glutathione. I mentioned glutathione is a really important detoxifying pathway through the liver. It's one of our master antioxidants. And I know through doing DNA testing that I have an impaired glutathione production pathway in my body, one of these, what we call a SNP. I've got more than one SNP to do with glutathione. So it's really important for me to be making sure I'm rich in dark green leafy vegetables and I'm eating the foods that are going to help glutathione production in my body, because I've got this impaired DNA pathway, this SNP. So it's a genetic mutation that helps, but that stops this liver detoxifying pathway work as efficiently, which isn't great, is it? And lots of people can have this SNP. That's why you can test for it. So walnuts are really helpful with glutathione production. So I do eat walnuts, not every day, but I do eat walnuts. They're also a really good source of fat-soluble antioxidant vitamin E. So really important, fat-soluble vitamin E, helping to lower inflammation. And they've got a very good fatty acid profile. It's one of our few plant-based sources of omega-3. It's not a rich source of omega-3, but it's a good plant-based source of omega-3, which is really good. In fact, all tree nuts are going to be helpful. So tree nuts, that means it doesn't include peanuts. So they're all very helpful. Number 9 on my list is garlic. Very good. It's rich in sulfur. So I mentioned that sulfation pathway. So garlic is really important for that liver detoxifying pathway. Helps to reduce fat accumulation through the liver. It contains selenium, so it's a very important antioxidant, helping to lower oxidative stress. I keep using these words, antioxidants, reduce oxidation, reduce inflammation, helping bile flow, helping fats move through. It all comes back to the same thing, helps detoxification. We already know how valuable garlic is in cardiovascular disease reduction risk, in cholesterol and immune protection at this time of year. We need to be thinking about our immunity again. So really good to use as much garlic as you can in your cooking, and we use plenty of garlic in our cooking in this household. Now, number 10 on my list is coffee. And yes, I do mean coffee. That's going to surprise you. I'm not saying go out and drink coffee all day long. No, but a couple of really good quality cups of coffee, if you can tolerate coffee yourself, is helpful for its flavonoids. Lots of research is showing how beneficial coffee is for the liver. But don't go mad, it is a stimulant. It's not going to be good for you if you're suffering from stress, because it's going to put an additional stress response on the body. So this is all about keeping things in balance. But there are studies that are showing that it can help prevent a fatty liver, support toxin elimination, and support antioxidant cell protection. So good quality coffee. This is not your instant coffee. This is not going out and have a latte with lots of milk in it. A couple of coffees of espresso twice a day, no more, is going to be okay for you. Unless you're going, it's actually going to be okay for you unless you really know you cannot tolerate coffee. Don't have it late at night, obviously, because I can't say that's good for you for encouraging a good night's sleep because of its stimulant response. So, in the first half of the day, 2 cups of espresso, good quality, is from a liver point of view beneficial. It's all about keeping everything in balance. So those are my top 10 foods. Of course, one was a cup of coffee, all shown to be beneficial for the liver. Anything that we can do to be supporting liver function is going to be supporting our overall health. We need to be encouraging bile flow. We don't want it to be sitting stagnant in the liver or gallbladder. We need to be encouraging these detoxification pathways. And when we do that, it's then in turn helping the liver perform all its other functions that it has to do. And one of those is a hormonal pathway and helping detoxify hormones and keeping our hormones in check, which is so important. So, you know, I mention these foods, but as we know, at the end of the day, it's about staying away from processed foods and eating a clean, wholesome diet and as much variety as possible, changing what you eat all the time. Lots of different vegetables, a little bit of fruit, including the berries, including the fats, essential fats, is all going to be beneficial, helping to keep your liver healthy along the way. So thank you for listening. Remember that all of my Facebook Lives are stored in my YouTube channel called Peyton Principles Natural Health. I've got over 100 videos now sitting there, so do go and have a look on YouTube. Do subscribe to my channel, get other people subscribing to my channel. The more people subscribing, that's really helps me to spread the word about what I do. So thank you for listening, and I will catch up with you all next week. Take care, have a good week. Bye.